We flipped 500 houses before realizing this very important lesson. Hey guys, I'm Ariane and this is my better half Chris. We created this channel so good people like you can learn how to be financially free as well. So we actually retired at the age of 27 with passive income from real estate investing, and we're gonna tell you the biggest tip we learned and how we actually got to this realization.
Yeah, so whenever we get into this flipping houses or wholesaling, whatever, it's usually pitched as our path to financial freedom. Do this for a while and then you'll be able to retire. Do this so you can retire. Do this to escape your job. It's always like pitched as a get rich quick scheme from the gurus. So a lot of us get into this flipping houses thing as a way to achieve financial freedom, but it doesn't actually get there. We flipped 500 houses and then realized that, oh crap, we just built ourselves a job, a very stressful, time-intensive job. We're nowhere near free. And it reminded us of Warren Buffett's quote, if you don't figure out a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die.
And that's what this whole big lesson is. We learned that having forever cash flow is better than having one-time cash flow. We have to actually figure out a way where we make money while we sleep. Meaning we are not exchanging our time for money. And how you actually do that is by making your money work for you. So if you watch some of our other videos, we actually have this whole series of how we retired at the age of 27. And 2 of those videos talk about the 24 unit property we bought that got us there, essentially. That's what got us to having $10,000 a month in passive income. But we're gonna use that example to illustrate this point of having forever cash flow versus one-time cash flow.
So first, we flipped a bunch of houses, right? And every house has its own transaction. Every time we buy a house and sell a house, we make a profit and then we have to pay taxes on those profits. And as soon as we're done, we have to do it again, and we have to do it again, and we have to do it again. So what we ended up building was a job, a very transactional business. Our 24 unit, on the other hand, was our first way to actually escape.
Right, so if you watched the video, you would know that we bought the 24 unit complex for $1.3 million, and the goal was to renovate it and then increase the rents enough so that we could have enough passive income that we never have to work ever again. So that actually happened. So after a few months of renovating the properties and raising the rents, we got $10,000 a month of passive income from that property, which is amazing. After we renovated the property and got that $10,000 a month in passive income, we actually had a choice. Because by that time, we had increased the value of the property from $1.3 million to $1.8 million. So we could have sold that property for a profit. Now remember, we only put $300,000 down to buy the property. And if we sold, we would net, after all the realtor fees and closing costs and paying for all the expenses, we would net $300,000. So within a year, we could have doubled our money, right? We would have turned $300,000 down into $600,000.
We're rich!
Which sounds amazing. For most people, double your money in 1 year, that's an amazing investment, right? Mm-hmm. But wait.
Taxes. So when you sell that property, we have to pay taxes on it. So depending where you live, they could take up to half of that money in taxes. So you think you're netting 300, but really what you actually take home in your pocket is only 150. And in exchange for that $150,000, we would have given up $10,000 a month in cash flow. Even at face value, right? How many months would it take for that $10,000 a month to equal the 150 grand? Well, 50 months, right? So by year 2, you're coming out ahead already just from the cash flow. What about year 10? What about year 20? Year 30? How much further ahead do we come by keeping the cash flow instead of that quick payday?
That is a lot of guacamole, a lot of the green.
And that doesn't even include what actually happened, right? So we're just talking about what happened in 2018 right now. So we did decide to keep the property, mainly because we learned that we actually need to figure out a way to make money while we sleep. So we were like, well, this is the only thing that's making money while we sleep right now, so we better keep it. Now, fast forward to 2021, if you watch the second video about the 24 unit, you would know that we actually blew all those projections out of the water. Instead of it being worth $1.8 million, it became worth $4 million. And the rents rose so much that we were actually cash flowing $25,000 a month back in 2021. That allowed us to refinance. And then when we refinanced, we pulled out all the money we put in, $300K, and an extra $1.5 million. Tax-free, guys.
And that's tax-free money. What do you mean tax-free?
Tax-free. Amazing. And after we paid for the higher loan amount, we were still cash flowing right now $10,000 a month, and that still keeps on going up because rents keep going up and all that kind of good stuff.
And that actually brings up a second point that we didn't really mention here, is that there's 4 ways to make money when you're buying long-term real estate, right? We have another video about that, so you want to look at all the 4 ways, but just to quickly enumerate them, we've got the cash flow, which is what we were talking about here, and what everybody thinks of when they buy real estate. We've got market appreciation, that's just the value goes up as the years go on in general. We've got tax benefits, which means that by buying property, we actually reduce our tax burden because the government's trying to incentivize us to provide housing. And the last one is leverage, where the tenant is paying down your mortgage for you. We were just talking about cash flow here and we come out ahead. Imagine adding all those other benefits in.
It's actually a lot. So definitely watch that video. We will link to all the videos we talked about here in the description below. So make sure you watch all of those, but especially that one where we talk about the tax benefits. Most people don't realize how much money you actually make in real estate. They think, oh, it's just a little bit of cash flow here. But if you add all the 4 ways you make money in real estate up, it's actually a lot. It's a lot more than this one-time income, right? And that goes back to the first point, which is buying rental properties and owning them is the real path to financial freedom. If you look at all the wealthy people, most of them hold real estate. They don't really like flip them. They own them for a really long time. And that's where we've decided to focus our efforts on, and it's paid off a whole lot.
Yeah, and because that's where we're focusing our efforts, you should really check out the next couple of videos. We're going to be talking about how we got into our first passive investment in syndications, our first co-GP in syndications, and our first leading our first syndication, that we do a little differently than most other syndicators for this very reason, where most of them are flipping apartment buildings. We try to buy them for the long term. So yeah, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell so you can see when those videos launch.
We also have a free Facebook group called Faster Financial Freedom, so make sure you check that out. You can network with other people who are on the path to financial freedom as well, and some who are already there like us. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you at the next video.